The Vikings, originating from Scandinavia, which is modern-day Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, were a seafaring people whose influence stretched across Europe and beyond from the late 8th to the early 11th century. Often remembered as fierce warriors and raiders, their legacy is far more complex. They were explorers, traders, settlers, and innovators who shaped the medieval world in profound ways. The Viking Age is traditionally marked by the infamous raid on the Lindisfarne monastery in 793 AD, an event that shocked Christian Europe and announced the arrival of these Norse warriors on the world stage. However, their story did not begin with this raid, nor did it end with their eventual integration into European kingdoms. The Vikings emerged from a society deeply connected to the sea, where harsh winters and limited farmland pushed them toward exploration and expansion. Their mastery of shipbuilding allowed them to construct the iconic Longships, sleek, fast, and versatile vessels capable of crossing open oceans and navigating shallow rivers. These ships were the key to their success, enabling lightning-fast raids, extensive trade networks, and voyages of discovery that took them as far as North America, centuries before Columbus. The early Vikings were pagans, worshipping gods like Odin, Thor, and Freya, and their mythology was rich with tales of valor, destiny, and the afterlife. Warriors who died in battle were believed to ascend to Valhalla, Odin's great hall, where they would feast until Ragnarok, the apocalyptic battle at the end of the world. This belief system reinforced their fearless approach to combat and exploration. However, their religion was not static. Over time, exposure to Christian Europe led to gradual conversion, particularly as Viking leaders saw political advantages in aligning with the dominant faith of the continent. By the 11th century, Scandinavia had largely embraced Christianity, though elements of Norse mythology persisted in folklore and sagas. Women in Viking society enjoyed relatively high status compared to their European counterparts. They could own property, request divorces, and even influence political decisions in some cases. Archaeological finds, such as the Oseberg ship burial, reveal that high-status women were sometimes buried with great wealth, indicating their importance in Norse culture. Economically, the Vikings were not just raiders but also skilled traders. Viking society was organized into chieftain-led clans, with a strong emphasis on honor, loyalty, and personal reputation. Unlike the feudal systems of medieval Europe, Viking governance included a form of early democracy known as the Thing, where free men gathered to settle disputes, make laws, and elect leaders. Iceland's Althing, established in 930 AD, is one of the oldest parliamentary institutions in the world. They established trade routes that span from the British Isles to the Byzantine Empire and beyond, dealing in goods like furs, amber, slaves, and silver. Their presence in Eastern Europe was so significant that they became known as the Rus, founding settlements that would eventually evolve into the Kievan Rus, the precursor to modern Russia and Ukraine. In the west, they settled in places like Normandy, named after the Northmen, westward and reached Vinland, now identified as Newfoundland, Canada. This made the Vikings the first Europeans to set foot in North America, though their settlements there were short-lived due to conflicts with indigenous peoples and logistical challenges. The archaeological site of Elance Auxiliary Meadows stands as proof of their transatlantic voyages, a testament to their incredible navigational skills and daring spirit. Where their descendants, the Normans, would go on to conquer England in 1066 under William the Conqueror. The Vikings also reached the Mediterranean, raiding as far as Seville and even serving as elite mercenaries in Constantinople's Varangian Guard. Perhaps one of their most remarkable achievements was their exploration of the North Atlantic. Around the year 1000 AD, Leif Erikson, son of Eric the Red, sailed. The decline of the Viking Age came gradually, influenced by several factors. The Christianization of Scandinavia reduced the cultural divide between Vikings and the rest of Europe, making raiding less justifiable in the eyes of newly converted kings. The rise of centralized kingdoms in Denmark, Norway, and Sweden also meant that independent Viking bands found it harder to operate without royal oversight. Their influence can be seen in the English language, which absorbed many Old Norse words such as sky, knife, and law. Their legal traditions influenced early parliamentary systems, and their genetic imprint remains across the regions they settled, from the British Isles to Russia. Modern popular culture has romanticized them as noble savages or ruthless conquerors, but the truth is more nuanced. The final blow came in 1066, when Harald Hardrada, the last great Viking warlord, was defeated at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, just days before William the Norman himself of Viking descent conquered England at Hastings. By this time, the era of Viking raids had ended, and Scandinavia had become integrated into the broader European political and religious landscape. Yet, the Viking legacy endured. They were a dynamic people whose actions helped shape the medieval world. From their technological innovations in shipbuilding to their far-reaching trade networks, the Vikings were more than just raiders. They were catalysts of change whose impact is still felt today. Their story is one of adventure, adaptation, and resilience, a testament to humanity's unending drive to explore, conquer, and ultimately, to endure.